now it's time to discuss today's biggest headlines with Nick Ferrari and Alison Phillips. Hello,
Morning.
guys.
Hi,
Morning.
good to see you.
How are you? OK.
Good.
Good. Now, it says here, first story, there's been 81% increase in adults opting for kid-free accommodation when booking a holiday, leading to people to ask, should children be banned from luxury hotels? Nick, what do you think?
Well, let's take you first to France, where it's no longer vive la différence. The High Commissioner for Childhood says the no-kids trend, and these are their words, amounts to violence against children. I mean, these are quite strong words. So what you have to ask yourself, we are all around this table very fortunate, we're all blessed, we're all parents. And I think we can all say that you find yourself, once you have your child, you find yourself going into restaurants that, as a single person, you wouldn't have dreamed of crossing the threshold because there are colouring crayons and there are high chairs, and that's just for me, you know. So I think the whole thing changes. I understand when you're young and you're single, you probably don't want children around, but it is actually part of life that children are on this planet, and I would have thought it was healthier if you did all try and mix.
I think so. I just don't like this. I mean, it's interesting. It's like luxury hotels. So these are people who obviously got a lot of money to spend on their holidays or on their nights out. But I just think are people trying to seal themselves away from families and from children? And you like the pictures that we've just seen there on the beach in Somerset. You've got all those kids, they're all there, everyone's there, mum, dad there, granny, granddad there, they're having a great time. That's what holidays are supposed to be about.
And it gets further into it as well. I keep getting things on my algorithm on Instagram of people complaining that you shouldn't have children on flights, and then it becomes that and stuff, and you're like, children need to travel with their family, so what are you...
But also, I think there is perhaps a thing about, you know, if children are well-behaved as well. So I think that what's really interesting about the French thing, although that guy in France does seem to be going a bit far about calling it bias against children. But there is a thing about French children being really well-behaved, and they will sit in a restaurant with their parents, they will talk to their parents, their families, that it's about everyone sort of behaving responsibly, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's good that there's options if people don't want to be around kids, and there's places they can go to do that. And if you do, then there are lots of places you can do.
Yes.
I never, but even before I had children, I never kind of consciously thought, I'm going to book somewhere with no kids. And it can get chaotic, can't it, around the pool, if you've got kids screaming and splashing and... You know, they are now my kids.
Exactly.
What would be great to be find one of these luxury hotels that's full of all these businessmen and women where no children, and just suddenly unleash a coachload of kids who've been on a plane for 15 hours. Just go for your lives, kids. Can you imagine the mayhem?
Chaos.
It'd be brilliant.
And adults are pretty good at bad behaviour at times as well.
Be.
So,
yes. I recall your days as an editor.
The next story is actually sticking with the theme of children. And this one is, would you track your kids? It's going to be even easier now, apparently, because there's a new shoe that comes with a hidden AirTag compartment. There it is.
So these are obviously sort of shoes quite young, but I mean, the thing that I think is particularly sinister about this is that the child themselves wouldn't know that they're being tracked. So there's lots of people now who track their kids on their phones, and the kid is sort of OK about that or agrees to have it happen. But this is sort of covert tracking. I don't track my teenage children, but I think I'm quite rare in that now, like most of my friends do.
You mean on their phones? On their
phones, and they can see where they are on a night out. I know people whose children have left home and they're still tracking them, which I think feels a bit... And I just sort of think, my kids know I don't track them, so if they're out late at night, they're going to have to work out how they're going to get themselves home safely. But at some point, they've got to stand on their own 2 feet.
Yeah. I track mine.
Do you?
Yeah, well, only 2 of them. One doesn't have a phone because she's too young, but... But we're all on it. And it's even the little things like they will go, oh, I looked and you were on your way home. Do you know what I mean? So
I've done the reverse.
It's not a non-trust. It's more of a, I just want to make sure that they're safe and they're OK. And that we're all
mercifully, I'm of an age now where my children track me. So when I ring and I say, where am I? Dad, Charing Cross Station is just 2 streets to the left. Go home. So it works very well.
I would say I track my son's obviously not old enough to track because he's just in the lounge. But we haven't started it yet, but me and my wife were having the discussion where I think we need to start tracking our parents. You know, because they go, oh, yeah, we're on our way, we're on our way. We're like, where are you on our way? Come on. look. We need to know where you are.
My mum's on our little thing that we have. There's me, Matt, the kids, and my mum. My dad is like, absolutely not. I do not want to be on it. But
No,
my
I
mum
don't.
doesn't mind because she knows when he's in the pub because it comes on the banking app that he's had a pint.
But it would be peer pressure, wouldn't it? Because if I did have young children, if suddenly we heard that every other child was having these tags put in their shoes, then you're suddenly going to think, crikey, if every other kid, well, we'd better get them for our children and put tags in.
It's peace of mind, isn't it?
Yeah,
as long as the kid knows.
Kind of, but the thing that worries me slightly about it is it's all adding to this perception that everybody's in danger all the time.
Yeah.
In this country, if you're a child, it's much safer than it ever was in the 1970s when I was growing up. And also, most children who are at risk, they're either children who are already in care or it's from their own parents, within the family. And I think we somehow have to get beyond this sort of constant fear because most kids
I can't,
are safe.
Alison. I can't. I just need peace of mind all the time.
Do you know what would be the funniest thing? If the kid knew and just threw the shoe on a train and it raced off to Liverpool or something like that. Or Scotland.
That can happen, you know?
Where's the child gone?
It's
The
hard.
kid's otherwise put his other shoes on, he's just walking home. Now, that would be funny.
I would go into meltdown.
Let's quickly talk about men's height. Should people judge men for not being tall enough? Nick, Blackadder star Tony Robinson, who's 5'4", says women should stop pointing out men's heights. Do you agree?
Top bloke, Tony Robinson, love his work. Nowadays, you don't pick on people's looks, do you? It's kind of a new understanding over the last 10 or 15 years. You don't mock people. I don't think there's anything wrong. I think, I don't want a bloke with red hair, which is what he goes into. I don't think there's anything wrong with a woman saying, in my dreams, I would like to marry a tall guy. I think that's acceptable. As long as you don't mock. I mean, there are words that I don't use that you can use for short people when we're all at school. You could call them this name. I don't support that. But I think a woman, which is what he kind of took issue with, wanting a tall partner or husband, I don't see a big problem there.
No, and I suppose people have, if they've got a feeling that they want something, that's kind of an innate feeling about what they fancy. And I'm sure some people fancy Tony Robinson, some people fancy Nick Ferrari,
Well,
some people.
Precious few.
It's very kind of different vibe.
Very small club.
And you might, this is what we were talking about earlier, is you might miss out on the love of your life on a nap because you might have a thing where they go, it's 5'5", and you go, oh, absolutely not.
Yeah.
But that sort of difference in inches might be like someone really special, you know?
Yeah.
I think it's important to just...
Don't be too judgmental.
Don't be
I
too
guess that's what-
judgmental.
Don't be too judgmental.
Exactly.
is
You
what I'm
could, like you
saying.
said, you could be missing out on the love of your life, couldn't you?
Well, my wife is very tall, so I haven't really got that problem. If I look at her, I stand on the yellow pages to have her. Now it's time to discuss more of today's top stories with Nick Ferrari and Alison Phillips. First of all, Rod Stewart has come under fire after featuring an AI tribute to Ozzy Osbourne alongside other deceased musicians in his latest tour. I think this is fascinating. What do you think, Nick?
I love it. And I think it's really unfair. This is done with nothing but affection in Rod Stewart's heart. It's not, and of course, it was only recently that we lost, of course, Ozzy. But you also see, I think we've seen Bob Marley, we're seeing David Bowie and various others. It's been watched over 3 million times on X alone. And we can talk a little bit more about AI if we like. But I just see this as a genuine outpouring and affection. That's Tina Turner, wasn't it? Yeah, a genuine affection. He's obviously worked with these people. He'll know these people. We have to say he's roughly the same age as most of these people. Good luck to the bloke. I see it as a very modern way of paying a tribute. In the old days, you used to, if you had a picture, you'd post a picture of yourself up because you've lost someone who you worked with or whatever. This is great. I just see it as progress.
I think so. And there's some filters now, I think, on TikTok and that you can, if you've got a picture of a loved one who may be alive or they may have passed away, that it kind of will move and it's like seeing that person again. And it's I know it's unusual, but it could be very cathartic, I think, for some people. And it could give them sort of some sense of seeing that person again. I think it's quite sweet.
Was it Kim Kardashian, one of the Kardashians, that had this sort of the hologram, I think, of her dad and having that conversation with him? Again, it's fascinating, and I think it's an amazing thing to be able to do with someone that you've lost. Also, do you think there's something to... It's almost like you're not dealing with your grief, maybe? Is there some side to it?
Yeah, so I suppose that is the concern, that if you were in the future and it was there sort of every day, then would you ever really come to terms with that loss? Which is, I think, what people are considering, what could it actually lead to in the future, is that people never really die, they just move into an AI sort of format.
Oh, God, that's so
Tell you
deep.
what you notice if you go, because my late father was from Switzerland, the Italian part of Switzerland, and I was there at the back end of last year, and I was taking my partner around the graveyard where there are a lot of Ferraris, and there are pictures over there of the person in life, which is a very Catholic thing to do in countries such as Italy, the Italian part of Switzerland, France. And I know this is a very modern representation, but then you can say, well, actually, that was my great-great-grandfather looked like. This is what my great-great-grandmother is. And I think it's quite a healthy connection. And you say, oh, yeah, kind of that looks a bit like my brother, or whatever. I just think it all kind of works. It's the way to handle grief, to your point.
Yeah. Something slightly different now.
Yes.
And that is the cost of weddings.
Yes.
Nick, I know you're getting married on Saturday.
Oh, yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
The headline is, have we stopped saying I do to the idea of getting married? Rising costs of weddings are putting marriage at risk of becoming extinct. Not so much for you, though.
No, not for me. Here we go again. This is the one, though. This is the one that's going to work.
Here we are.
William Hill are getting good odds on this one being the one that works. Look at these costs. The big day cost £23,350. They'll see some viewers looking at that figure now thinking, my God, that's up to £17,300. And if you're in the smoke, if you're in London, it's the thick end of £29,000. Look, not everybody can afford that sort of thing. At the heart of it, it is a man and a woman, or two men or two women, or whatever it is, just saying that they love each other. If you want to do it for a fiver, do it for a fiver. It doesn't matter. The thing is that you found the person you want to spend your life with, but a lot of people trying to turn it into a moment of extraordinary excess as well. Whatever works for you. As long as you don't bankrupt yourself, as long as it means, you get evicted from your house, whatever works for the couple is what I suggest. Again, let's not be too judgmental.
No, absolutely. And I just think it's a bit sad, though, if people feel under pressure. I think because of the sort of Instagram-first nature of so many weddings that, they've got to have the flowers have got to look like this and the table's got to look like that. And so there is that huge pressure which comes with the cost. And that seems a shame because then there's so much sort of pressure that the day's got to be perfect that when the tiniest thing goes wrong, sort of disappointment creeps in.
And there's enough pressure on that day already, isn't there? And the build-up to the day, there's so much pressure and you just kind of go out.
Don't make it worse. Oh, my God. Oh, God.
Yeah, but you've been there before, Nick, so you know.
You've no idea how much Mariah Carey is charging to sing. I'm having to do Uber shifts to pay for that. It's unbelievable.
Nick, you should have just got a hologram. It would have way cheaper. Come on.
Sold it.
It's a very interesting thing, and I think it's everyone should just do whatever they. The cliche is it's your day, and you should really sit down and.
But
think
there is
about
undue pressure, I think, Joel, on some people. And then there's also that competitive thing, is, oh, my girlfriend did this, so I want to do that, or, oh, my mate did that, so I want to hire a Learjet or whatever it might be. I think it has to a bit of rationale. Rationality has to kick in, doesn't it? Well, I would have thought.
There was something I read recently that...
which is why you're not invited, you two. I couldn't afford it. Just to make it plain, I had to keep the numbers down.
I missed that invite, Nick. Thanks.
It said something along the lines of, like, the more you spend on your wedding, the more likely it is you get divorced.
Yes.
And so it's really interesting, isn't it? And it's not to say that if you have an expensive wedding, but it's interesting to sort of weigh up, what is your priority and what do you want?
I thought you were just about to say, what is your priority?
What is your priority, Nick? How much are you spending?
I'm just like asking her who's handed up in marriage. I'm nervous.
Let's talk about now, did you ever feel like you were trying to send a subliminal message to your partner to keep them in check? Well, there's now a name for this. It's called mankeeping. Alison, have you heard of this?
Well, it's quite interesting. So what it is, mankeeping, is essentially, I think, Emma, you're going to like this, it's essentially when women sort of do everything. They remember the birthdays,
so it's
they
what
do
we've
that.
been doing for centuries.
Forever.
We've just got a name for it.
And then also you're trying to think about what they need to think about as well, just to make sure that they don't make any mistakes in a conversation. And it's just like, it's subliminal messages, but I think that's actually just kicking under the table. It's like, do this, don't do that. So it's the mental load that women carry.
How do you send a subliminal message to your... How would you do it?
Mine is a physical message. I don't mean
I'm
like...
nervous already.
No, I write a list.
Yes.
We do lists.
Yes.
And he was his choice. He was like, rather than you thinking I can mind read what needs to be done, because he's like, hands up, I'm rubbish.
Right.
Just write me a list, and then I'm happy to do it. But saying that, he is brilliant at presents. I never have to.
What, you mean remembering the date or
birthday
buying
presents,
it?
Christmas presents for other people.
Wow, that's
he
fantastic.
deals with all of it, and he does the bins.
Well, he's just perfect.
Unbelievable. And he's in a famous band. Unbelievable.
And he's good looking.
Oh,
I mean, this is just... I've had enough.
You do the bins.
I do the bins, but I don't do... I'm so bad at presents. My wife is so good at the presents
But you see, what you've just said there, you do not need a degree to go and buy presents. It's just because you don't want to do it, and that's what happens. It's... What do they call it? They call willful incompetence, and so that you show that you can't do it, and therefore somebody else has to come and do it for you.
But he's man enough to accept that his wife is is better at it.
Nobody is better at buying a birthday card.
I don't know the list. I'm sure she just must have a great eye.
No.
I think your husband... So her husband's allowed to have a great eye. The minute this poor guy says, oh, yes, my wife's... No, that's outrageous.
I am really good at the bins.
Does it come back down to the multitasking debate? Is that we can kind of think about lots of things and juggle lots of things and remember lots of things and maybe...
I think so, but then how much of it is because, A, we feel if we don't, then nothing gets done, and B, is that it's sometimes, I admit, we can be a bit sort of think, oh, if we don't, you know...
Yeah, you love it. You love it. You love it.
Well...
What about ironing, Joel?
This is the next thing, isn't it?
Story.
Nearly half of Gen Z don't know how to use an iron, reaching for a steamer instead. Nick, is ironing becoming a lost art?
Yeah, I absolutely hopeless. When I lived on my own, I tried it. I'm absolutely appalled. I mean, I know you're meant to start with...
Once?
No, I cannot iron. I will have to... I am absolutely shocking.
Again,
why are you raising... I've tried and I'm not good at it.
You don't need to go to special training classes to learn how to iron. How do you think we learn to iron?
Well, this is amazing, Alex. He's ironing everyone's
He quite
stuff.
likes a steamer.
He likes it. OK.
He goes round and takes in everybody's shirts and does the ironing.
Does anyone want an ironing done? I can buy you presents
There's old Matt
afterwards.
coming round the ironing board again.
I don't iron very often, but I was taught by my great aunt how to iron when I was a kid. And honestly, it has stuck with me. And on the odd occasion I do iron something, I will literally, she taught me crest, collar, sleeves, back, front. And I've done it that way ever since. I don't know if that's right or not, but...
I need to be taught how to do it properly, because I always feel like I do that bit and then I do it wrong, so then now I've creased the back again and I've already done the back and now I've got to keep going and I feel like it takes me hours
Maybe you need to practice more. Could it be that?
I need to practice. But steamers maybe just the new thing. I think steamers are fantastic.
A steam iron is also
Well,
very...
what's that? What is this?
It's an iron, but it's got mega steam in it.
Whoa.
They're really good.
Well, there's your Christmas sorted.
Well, Matt can buy me that for Christmas. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you both. Thank you.
I'll let him know. After the break, are you ready for a sardine summer? As fashion gets fishy this season, influencer Olapello will be showing you how to wear this summer's viral trends.
And our pawnbroker Dan Hatfield's revealing whether your clutter could actually be worth some cash. He'll be here to take your calls.
Thank you so much for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every single day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button and we'll see you in the morning.